19 photos from weddings you'd want to attend. Zombie invitations. The zombie genre has been something that's been popular for a while, but now more than ever, there are at times campy and other times dramatic depictions of zombies in movies and TV shows have reached a new level of popularity. Like this photo, taken for this couple's zombie-themed wedding invitations. McDonald's themed wedding. Nothing shows how happy a bride is than when she's carrying a case of french fries from McDonald's. To combat the fact that she never had a McDonald's party when she was a child, Louise Shampton decided to plan the next best thing, a McDonald's wedding party. Actually, she asked her daughter what kind of party they should have, and the young girl replied it should be at McDonald's. Louise and her husband Joseph also had a matching cake that was designed to look like a Big Mac. A tale as old as time. Even though these weren't pictures from the actual wedding, the idea is still the same. Photographer Raylan Martellino took her old wedding dress and dipped it into a yellow dye, so it more resembled Belle's dress from the Disney adaptation of Beauty and the Beast. Who you see here are models that stood in as the bride and groom for the Beauty and the Beast themed wedding, complete with a chipped cup, stacks of old books, a lock, a candelabra, and even a few glass cases of roses. And all of that effort for a wedding that wasn't even really happening. Matching chickens. Most people at their weddings have that one relative or friend who draws some attention away from the main event. Lizzie and Kai Gatherer would have probably had a typical looking wedding with nothing appearing out of the ordinary, if it wasn't for their chicken ring bearers. The two chickens wore matching blue knitted shirts and strolled into the ceremony via a cage wagon. And the poultry imagery didn't stop there. The whole wedding was chicken themed, in fact. The couple from Aldershot, England met when they were volunteering for a British hen welfare trust. Now everything makes a little bit more sense. Together, the gatherers have adopted nearly 50 hens. The Tall Bri. This gets weirder to look at the more you stare at it. Of course, the bride is probably sitting on the groom's shoulder as her long gown covers the top half of his body. Taking a photo like this does require a lot of trust after all. How much would you trust someone to carry you on their shoulders if they couldn't see what's right in front of them? Jurassic wedding party. Standing around and posing for pictures gets a little tedious after a few minutes, but it probably goes without saying that the wedding party at this photo shoot got some good cardio in while also trying to sharpen their good acting skills. But if Bryce Dallas Howard can run with a T-Rex and pumps, then running in a long gown could be manageable too. Ultimate color coordinated wedding. A lot of elaborate planning goes into making a wedding as perfect as you hope it would be. Taylor Ann Linko color coordinated as much as she could for her wedding to her husband Chris, who showed up with a boutonniere that matched the dark rainbow color she had going on. Taylor Ann's white wedding dress was airbrushed in a color pattern that shows on her bouquet, her wedding dress, the bridesmaids, table decorations, and even her hair. Of course, the San Diego couple were married in the summer. Superhero themed. People often complain that formal wear for men isn't as creative or have as much variety as it does for women. But this part of the groom's party figured they could up the theme a notch. Not only did they wear matching gray suits, they also went a little further and wore superhero shirts and opened up their button-downs Superman style. And it looks like that this isn't a DC or Marvel exclusive party either. The Giant Bride. Now, we all know that this is just a case of forced perspective from the photographer's end. Not sure what the message of this particular photo is, but it looks like they had fun doing it. Toy boutonnieres. Whether you think this is incredibly cute or a little too gaudy, at least there's some variety in the characters they chose. It doesn't look like it strictly had to be a comic book character boutonniere. Anime and the Bible were up for grabs too. Perfect timing. With the colors the bride and the groom are wearing, it's difficult to believe that the color of the sky and the lightning bolts weren't planned. This is one of the entries for the Junebugs Wedding's Best Wedding Photography competition in 2016. It of course stood out, and even though the couple were reportedly taken by surprise by the lightning bolt, it doesn't seem to show. Put a ring on it. Who said it has to be the bride and her friends that get to gush over the ring? Kicked out. It's not entirely clear what the message was behind this photo of the bride kicking her groom into a nearby river at the wedding. What's more, why is he even holding the flower bouquet? Either way, we're guessing this was probably a really fun wedding photo shoot. For the bride, at least. First sight of the bride. Even though we can't see what the bride looks like in this photo, judging from the groom, she's probably looking gorgeous. This was apparently the first time he saw his wife to be in her wedding dress, and it literally floored him. Mountain High Wedding. If you didn't know any better, you might have thought this was just one of those cool travel photos people take when they're hiking. But this was a wedding photo taken by Lanny Mann for a bride and groom while they posed on the top of the Canadian Rockies in Canmore, Alberta, Canada. Bat Bride. If the utility belt and gloves were just a little bit grittier, this could be a strange wedding version of Christopher Nolan's take on Batman and all of his friends. This is Laura doing a bridal photo shoot for her wedding in Charlotte, North Carolina. For all of you Batman-verse geeks out there, things are even better than it looks. Her now husband Seth dressed up in black and blue and went as Nightwing. In fact, while Laura's party dressed in Batman colors, Seth's parties went all dressed like Nightwing. As for their wedding cake, you probably might have already guessed it. The cake toppers were Barbara Gordon and Dick Grayson as their vigilante counterparts. Aerial shots. This photo was the winner of the Junebird Wedding's Best Wedding Photography in 2016. The judges were apparently taken aback with the colorful aerial shot the photographer was able to capture at this wedding on the street. Alice in Wonderland. Spotting Alice and the Mad Hatter together isn't anything new. While the two as a traditional romantic couple might not have been what Lewis Carroll had in mind, they're still a pairing people like to imagine together. At least this was the idea at Natalia Kuzawa's wedding to her husband Raphael in 2016. The two went as Alice and the Mad Hatter for their Mad Hatter Tea Party themed wedding in Poland. Han and Leia's wedding. The couple that cosplays at their wedding together stays together. The now married couple, Daviana and Paul Heslop, started dating when they were both teenagers. What's interesting is, they didn't even stay together when they first dated in college. After 27 years apart, they reunited on a dating site, and not long after, the two were engaged. Daviana also happened to be a big Star Wars fan, so of course, her and Paul were going to throw a Star Wars themed wedding, and go as none other than Princess Leia and Han Solo. They had some pretty great friends and family too, as they all went as characters from Star Wars. Paul's best man went as Chewbacca, and someone even showed up in a Jabba the Hutt costume. So what's something you learned today that you didn't already know? Let us know down in the comments section below, and while you're there, don't forget to subscribe to see more awesome videos just like this.